Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I am, as always, your host, AR, the Ohio Patriot. And for today, we're going to do something a little bit different here. I'm going to start a new stream called My Night is Your Day. Or, sorry, My Day is Your Night. Because obviously, I do this stuff at, later at night. Sometimes after midnight, sometimes after 1 a.m., sometimes after 2 a.m. is what it is. Because I'm just awake at that time. So, my day is literally people's night. In most cases, I'm kind of a third shift kind of guy when it comes to things. And yeah, figured I'd do this right now. I was going to do this yesterday, but, got a little tired and stuff like that. And I think this is actually a better time to do it anyway because, as the title suggests, fuck your gun control, which is going to be the first topic we're going to talk about today with that piece of shit, Joe Biden. Fuck him, fuck everything he's ever done, and everything he's represented against the Second Amendment, dude. Specifically, 10 years after Sandy Hook, Biden says Americans should have societal guilt over gun violence. Says the motherfucker who literally left upwards of billions of dollars worth of heavy military equipment, full auto weaponry, MRAPs, tanks, planes, Humvees with 50 cal machine guns on them, etc., in Afghanistan with a failed fucking pullout a couple of years ago. Yeah, fuck you, you old fucking pedophile fuck. No, fuck your fucking gun control, you cocksucker. I will not have societal guilt over so-called gun violence, which isn't even a real fucking thing, by the way. It's some dumbass fucking retarded phrase that Joe Biden, the fucking Democrat Party, and the fucking piece of shit liberal mainstream media came up with a few years back now to address what is actually, in most cases, gang issues. It's gang violence. It's criminals that these fuckers are literally buying back onto the streets, dude, and paying their fucking bails. Just like that fucking cunt Kamala Harris paid the damn bail fund of every BLM and Antifa terrorist in this fucking country during the 2020 rioting to let them off the fucking hook. So no, I won't be used as a pawn. I won't be used as a fucking proxy. I will not have my gun rights attacked by child molesters like Joe Biden. Period. Ever. But as this piece of shit said, we have a moral obligation to pass and enforce laws that can prevent these things from happening again. Yet, literally, Sandy Hook happened in one of the biggest gun-free zones in the country, being Connecticut, where they had pretty much every gun control on the books at the time already on the books. Murder has been banned in this country since pretty much the existence of America in 1776. It has been murder has been illegal since humanity became a thing, centuries back is what it is. So, yeah, this guy's just a fucking moron is what it is, dude, for real. But we're not going to go into any more of that. It's just them just trying to push a bunch of shit is what it is, dude. And, of course, you got these young girls that are, like, 16 to 18 now that were, survivors of the whole thing. And, like, these kids have serious psychological issues now, dude. And that's what's so disgusting. They're being used as pawns in a fucked up proxy game to try to steal our constitutional rights away from us. That, by the way, the government does not have the legal authority to do ever. And they're trying to use children and teenagers that are seriously fucked in the head after having psychological experience that is traumatizing, that is definitely post-traumatic stress. Shell shock is the better term for it, actually, and should have never changed from that, actually, years ago. I don't know why they were changed it to post-traumatic stress disorder, honestly. It's stupid to call it PTSD when it's actually legitimately shell shock was the best name for it ever, because you're literally being shocked to your core with a traumatic experience. That's what it is. But, yeah, they're literally just trying to push these poor kids and just use them as fucking pawns in a fucking sick-ass game is what it is, dude. And, of course, they talked about the Safer Communities Act, which is such a fucking lie, dude. That is the biggest lie of a piece of legislation ever. You're not making communities safer with bullshit like red flag laws, which, by the way, are unconstitutional across the board. You're not making communities safer by having a bunch of cops stand down in Uvalde so you can push that kind of shit, where you literally had up to 400 police officers. I think maybe it was maybe 500 police officers actually in that particular city that day. That literally stood by for an hour and a half while some gunmen murdered 19 kids there in Uvalde at Raleigh Elementary. So, yeah, just absolutely sickening, dude. Just a bunch of sick sons of bitches is what it is. So, anyway, got a bunch of other news stories. Talk about two actually. Switching topics. This is basically going to be a free for all kind of thing. Besides the gun control stuff. So obviously I do watch wrestling. I found out yesterday that apparently Mandy Rose was fired this morning from WWE, which is interesting because she dropped the title Tuesday night on NXT. I was kind of wondering about that, and I'm like, that's weird. And then as it turns out, it's apparently that she had like an OnlyFans account and had like a whole bunch of nude stuff out there is what it was, which is kind of funny to me because of the fact that you look back at McMahon and company, back in the late 90s or 2000s, stuff like that with, Sable and China and all these other chicks like that. Tori Wilson was another one of them. I think there was like 10 or 12 of them in total that all did like Playboy shoots back in the day. And it's just funny to me that you have, them being all like, oh, it's 2022 and this chick can't have the modern equivalent of this thing because we're not the ones. I think what it really was, honestly, it was that WWE themselves are not the ones making money off of it. And so it's a whole thing like that. I think they fired Lana for a similar reason, actually, because she had like an OnlyFans account or some kind of, something where she was making money on the side like that. And they're like, well, you can't have that thing because you work for us as a company. And it's like, how could you not have that thing? It's called capitalism, bro. Like, if you're not paying them enough money, like, they're going to make money someplace else, dude, to supplement their income is what it is. So to sit there and talk shit at them and be like, oh, you can't do this thing and now you're fired because of it, it's kind of ridiculous, honestly, dude. It's pretty disgusting in general, actually. And yeah, it's just, I don't even know what to say about it, honestly. It's just very, very much like, fucked up is what it is, bro. So, but yeah, according to, I'll go ahead and pull this one up here. This was a NoDQ.com article here that particularly said, Mandy Rose was released by WWE today due to adult-based online content of hers that was made available or leaked. And, if you want to find it, it's out there. I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to get this channel in trouble for it, but yeah, it is out there. So, and then we also got more details surrounding her release here. So, as I said, let's see. Previously known, Mandy Rose was reportedly released by WWE one day after dropping NXT Women's title to Roxanne Perez. During Wrestling Observer Live's Brian Alvarez of 4FWOnline.com went into more details about the situation, saying this did have something to do with a site that she set up where she charges fans to see videos of her. Now it is not an OnlyFans. Okay, so it's not OnlyFans, apparently. It's some other site. Apparently, everybody thought it was like an OnlyFans. Apparently, she does not have an OnlyFans in WWE. Don't know what they don't restrict, take money from, or whatever. But she basically set up her own subscription service. WWE was aware of the service. So for a while, this was not an issue. This was not something that they were unaware of. And then she ended up dropping the title yesterday, and she is no longer with the company today. So those are the facts that we know. The guy continued on and said, from what I've been told, her subscription site through Fan Time, where she posted bikini shots and this and that, obviously, side boob and stuff like that is what it really was. And recently it became more than that. Yeah, side boob and stuff. So we saw a lot more of Mandy Rose, and apparently it got to the degree where WWE was like, this is not going to fly. Yeah, I can see that. It's like, yeah, it's one thing if you're selling like, you and random like, posts like that, but it's like a different thing if you're like, oh yeah, here's, boobs or like naked ass or whatever the case be, which in some cases that was what that was. So yeah, I can see them doing that shit. Being like, yeah, we're not down for that. Even though we were down for that like 20 years ago when it was fucking us making money off the chicks that were doing Playboy. So, which is basically what the equivalent of that was, honestly, in most cases, dude. It would have been her doing like nude photo shoots, essentially, is what it is. So, yeah, kind of ridiculous, honestly, if you ask me. But again, it's one of those situations where people be stupid and companies are, going to do what they want to do, is what it is. But, you're doing it if you do, doing it if you don't in most cases. It'll be interesting to see if Mandy Rose ends up on the indies someplace or not after this. I could see maybe AEW taking her up, but maybe not, just because of the fact that it's like, that's kind of almost like negative press for them as well, because like Although to be fair, they're supposed to be so inclusive and everything else like that now, so maybe they will. It all depends, you know. I know there's a couple chicks that work for that company in the past that have done similar things. So maybe they'll have her on the roster at some point in the next 90 to 180 days, whatever it's going to be, when her contract actually expires for the no compete clause and stuff like that. Which, if I'm not mistaken, I think in NXT there's a different thing. It's like a 30-day one or something maybe, because I know that there was one with Aleister / Malachi Black where it was supposed to be like 90 or 180 days or whatever where he couldn't compete for any other company. But because they fucked up and didn't realize that he was still under the NXT contract or whatever, he was able to jump ship to AEW within like 30 to 40 days or something like that is what it was. And I'm wondering if it would be something like that with her as well. Like since she's under NXT contracts, it might be like 30 or 60 days or something like that maybe. So it'll be interesting to see if she's shows up in AEW in the next like 2, 3, 4 months, something like that, or not, or if she just shows up on like some other indie company. There's so many out there nowadays anyway, like MLW, you got fucking Impact, so forth and so on. Like that's obviously just like the main ones in the States here. You got GCW she could go to there for a little bit, but I'm not so sure she would be in that company though, because they're kind of, to me, GCW is kind of the bottom of the barrel, scraping the bottom of the barrel, like CZW used to be with a lot of their deathmatch stuff and stuff like that, which, there's nothing wrong with deathmatch wrestling and stuff. It's just, it's a certain fan base, and it's one of those things where I personally used to enjoy it quite a bit, actually, until, I became an adult male, and now I'm like, yeah, that's how you die, bro. Because I was actually going to do a grandstand about that a while ago, about how many guys who worked for CCW in the past, like, 20 years now have now died from brain injuries and stuff like that, from getting smacked in the head with light tubes and chairs and all kinds of other blows to the head is what it is. And it's pretty sad, dude. It's legit like well over a dozen men at this point that have either died through various head injuries and stuff like that, or have taken their own lives, like Justice Pain and stuff like that. And it's just, it really gets to you, man. It really does. Because it's like, I remember, 15 years ago or so, growing up with them dudes, maybe even closer to 20 years ago now, I'm thinking about it, because it was early 2000s when that company was really doing a lot of that stuff. So yeah, it's one of those things where, my teen years and my early 20s and stuff like that, like, I definitely followed that kind of stuff, dude. And now that I'm in my late 30s, it's like, watching all these dudes, go on and stuff like that and pass on to another life is what it is. And go, whether it be up to heaven or down to hell or wherever it's going to be at that point, purgatory maybe. It's sad. It really is. And, the thing with Mandy Rose is, like, she might not even have to go into, if she would want to continue on with, like, wrestling and stuff like that, she might not even have to go to, like, an American company for that matter, because there's so many things over in, like, Japan and stuff like that, too. You got, like, New Japan, you got AAA down in Mexico, and that's the thing. You look at people like Juice Robinson and stuff like that, man, that guy was in, I think it was either an NXT or it was the one before NXT, like the Florida Championship Wrestling or whatever. And he was basically a nobody in that company for a little bit there, and WWE fired his ass because they didn't think he wasn't good enough or whatever in the ring at the time or whatever. He went to New Japan, and then he went to, I think, AAA as well, and he crafted he literally, spent the years in the ring getting practice and doing matches and everything else like that, and is now one of the better guys on the indie circuit right now, dude. And that's why AEW and Ring of Honor are bringing him back up now. So that's the thing. And like that, you'll see that all the time too, as well. I mean, even like Kenny Omega back in the day, from my understanding, was one of these guys that WWE was talking about, like, probably about 15 years or so ago. And then they were like, oh no, bro, you're too small. You don't have the skill set or whatever the case be. And he just grinded like crazy in these different organizations like that overseas. And again, is now one of the top stars in, AEW and essentially like the indie circuit is what it is. And the same thing with some of these other dudes, half those guys that are part of the club and stuff like that did the exact same thing there. And you had like so many of these different individuals who have, realized that, okay, WWE used to be the big show and stuff like that, and now it's really not anymore. And on the flip side of things, what's funny to me is that people like Triple H, now they've taken over there, and McMahon's kind of stepped down, is what it is they're starting to bring back a lot of guys from the indie circuit and stuff because they're like, we need people again, because they fired a ton of people in 2020 during the lockdowns and stuff, just due to like cost cutting measures is what it was. Like they couldn't afford to do contracts with them and stuff anymore because they're like, hey, we're only going to use you like once every like 2 or 3 months for something, or maybe like one time in like 6 months for like a 2-month storyline or something like that. And they're just like, yeah, dude, we can't afford to have you on the roster anymore is what it is. And so you end up having a situation there where, people like Eric Young got canned, people like Big Damo got canned, and so forth and so on. And now they're bringing back Eric Young, and I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if they brought back Nikki Cross's husband, Damo, and had him become Killian Dane again. Which I'm not gonna lie, dude, Killian Dane was a fucking badass in NXT, dude. Like he really had what it took to be like champion there for a long time. If they wanted to make him champion of that particular brand, is what it was. And I think they failed huge on that one by not doing that, because they gave him like very much like a mid card, upper card status in NXT when he was there for a little bit of time after he was kicked off the main rosters and stuff. And then they basically just let him go, is what it was. And then he went back to, I think it was like ICW or whatever there in Scotland or Ireland or wherever it's at there. And the thing is, it's like you have the ability to have these people that could be like some weird like subcontract or whatever the case be, and you're not doing that, which I think is kind of silly in general, because again, and this is the one thing I do appreciate with Triple H now taking over the responsibilities and stuff like that of where McMahon used to be at, is that with Helmsley in office now, in that particular, figurehead guy or whatever, he's allowing people like Shinsuke Nakamura to actually leave the company to go do dream matches and other outside wrestling companies, like different New Japan, like I forget it was New Japan or some other company there, where it was, I think, Great Muta, who was going to be retiring here in the next like 6 months or something. He wanted to do like 10 different matches, like 10 different people is what it was. And one of them was Shinsuke, and they were like, yeah, let's make it happen. And I think that's another thing. Like, you could easily have your talent go out of your company and have like some kind of match like that, or even bring people into your company for like, a single day contract, or maybe like a week contract or something like that, where you just have them have like one match or something is what it is, or even just do like a 1 month contract or something, where you would just have it be like, okay, we're going to build up something for the next like 3 weeks and then have this match at a pay-per-view, and then that's going to be on that person's contract kind of thing. And I think that's the problem with WWE specifically, is like they don't want to do those really short-term contracts like that, which I understand. You want to go for that, years-long contract and have somebody under, like a 5-year contract, 10-year contract, whatever it's going to be, because that way you actually have exclusivity to these people. Whereas you can be like, okay, we own your name rights and everything else like that. And that's what it is for the most part in general. That's why you keep having people have their name changed all the time and stuff like that. That's why that Casey Catanzaro chick is actually named something else in the NXT now, because they did not have her name rights of her actual biological name is what it was. And so now it's like Carter or something, I think is what they call her, or something there, or Chance. I forget which one of the two she is actually at this point. But she's one of those two chicks that's women's champion there. I should say women's tag team champions there. And the thing is, it's like, I get some of the name changes, but then there's some of them that are just like dumb. Like Donovan Dijak just becoming Dijak. Like that was fucking stupid. And various things like that. And that basically goes back to McMahon's crap of like the whole like one name thing, where it's like Prince or something along those lines kind of thing is what it is. And then, again, that goes back to the McMahon era stuff like that, where he's just wanting to have people have like the shortest name possible, even though it doesn't make any sense, it doesn't sound right or anything like that. And it's just like, what the hell, bro, kind of thing. So anyway. All right, sorry about that. I had to get some stuff out of my nose. Still fighting this cold and whatever I have right now. So anyway, but yeah, like I was saying, you have, people like what McMahon does, where he makes like these one-word names and shit like that. even though they don't make any sense. And then you have like actually like good wrestlers in some of these, you know, various brands and stuff like that. And then unfortunately, it's the same thing with. Sorry, hit my thing again. I don't know exactly where I cut my mic on that one. But anyway, going back to what I was saying though. So the problem with McMahon and stuff like that when he does these one word names and stuff like that is it's you have them make no sense. And it's the same thing with AEW right now where they have, you know, various talent who are kind of being suppressed because they have nothing for them, is what it is. It's why you haven't seen the guy that used to be Rusev, that they now call Miro, on AEW TV for the last several months now. They apparently, I heard the other day, that they had offered him like some kind of a thing a few months back, is what it was, that would have gone, it would have been like a program, is what they call them, that would have gone for like a 3 or 4 month window or whatever. And then he didn't end up accepting that because he didn't want to go with like this weird little storyline or whatever it was. And so he's basically been off TV for like almost a year now, is what it is, which is kind of silly because it's like, dude, if they have something for you, just take anything at that point. If nothing else, like tweak it to what your liking is and stuff like that. And then go from there is what it ends up being. Like I would much rather honestly be wrestling in a ring if I was an actual wrestler and stuff like that. Being on a TV program for however long it's going to be, you know, having my name, having my face out there, everything else like that, than being forgotten in a company and end up, you know, something where maybe they release you at some point because they're like, oh, you know, you haven't been here for like a year or whatever. Like, what the hell are you doing, kind of thing. And I think that's a big issue right there, honestly, entirely. And I think, honestly, the longer that somebody's off, like the basic programs and stuff like that, or like the main programs and stuff, the more likelihood that they're not going to have anything for them at some point, and the more likelihood that they will be released over some, you know, BS thing or whatever the case be, or maybe some even will ask for their releases, what it is. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with that, though. But, yeah, like I said, it's one thing to do that kind of thing, and it's a whole other thing to do something else, is what it is. But, you know, the whole Mandy Rose thing, though, I think is very interesting, that it was like, oh, we were okay with you doing like this thing in your own like subscription service or whatever the case be, where it was like quote unquote like non-nudity, but when it become like nudity, now it's like we have a problem with it. And it's like, the fuck? Again, I really think it was that it goes back to the McMahon Mafia cartel thing there, is what it is, dude, where he wasn't getting his cut, is what it was. Like, if she had been tossing a few dollars his way and stuff like that, he probably wouldn't have an issue with it, is what it is, or sucking his dick, whatever it was, dude. Because that's a big thing with McMahon nowadays, actually. That's the main reason why he stepped down from WWE, actually, is because he had all those sex assault allegations against him in the past year or so, and was paying chicks off, is what it was, for like years now, I guess. Which is not surprising, man. That dude always seemed like a scumbag in general, and I'm not the least bit surprised that Vince McMahon was kind of a creeper. I mean, hell, he was very much creepy when he was doing his own storylines and stuff like that in that company. So, you know, I mean, you can literally look back at WWE in the late 90s, early 2000s. You can see how much of a creepy fuck McMahon was back then, man. And that was when he was like 20 years younger. So, he's just gotten older and creepier since then, dude. Kind of like Joe Biden's ass. But anyway, moving on to a couple other topics we want to talk about today, actually, that are non-wrestling related, and we obviously covered gun control already, is what it was. So, we're going to talk about that scumbag piece of shit, Gavin Newsom. Newsom, Biden's migrant flights, a burden for sanctuary state California. Yeah, go fuck yourself, Newsom. You are literally a sanctuary state for illegal aliens, dude. Your fucking state is the only reason why pieces of shit like Nancy Pelosi are still in office right now through massive voter fraud. You can go fuck yourself. The only reason you, sir, are still in office is through massive voter fraud, through literally fortifying elections, is what it is, bro. And making sure that you're going to get in there no matter what. So yeah, you can fuck off, Newsom. Then we got parents push back as liberal foundations fund more woke education programs. We're actually going to read that one. Then, of course, it's got a picture of Bill Gates and Zuckerberg there for the actual article. It says parent organizations are pushing back after learning that Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, and others are bankrolling woke education programs over 24 groups of parents are requesting that 5 different organizations stop funding social emotional learning, or SEL, and race-based education programs in public schools, a report from Fox News explains. Said among the 5 organizations are the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, as well as the W.K. Kellogg Foundation. Both the Wallace Foundation and the Windward Fund are also involved in the funding of SEL and race-based programs, aka 1619 Project, aka fucking anti-white racist bullshit is what it is, dude. And that's exactly what it is at the end of the day. It's the liberal fucking college crap is what it is, dude. The CRT shit is what they're talking about there. Which, by the way, Ohio right now has a lame duck session going on currently in the middle of the night right now. And most likely we're going to pass out some parental rights bills here in the next hour or two. So it's going to be great, man. And I'm sure the Democrats are going to freak the fuck out again. Fucking Allison Russo's probably going to go on a whole tirade again and be all like, this is bullshit. We shouldn't be passing things in the middle of the night in these lame duck sessions again. Da, 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 da. Maybe you should have thought about that 6 months ago when you were fucking with our maps, you fucking piece of shit cunt. And then taking a fucking 2-month vacation after that during the fucking summertime. Where your ass could have got the shit done then, bitch. But that's the problem with these fucking people. They don't give a fuck because they're all a bunch of lazy bastards is what it is, dude, for real. So, anyway. Continuing on here, it says, Fox News reported, actually, which one am I sharing? I'm going to do a stop share on that one, and then I'm going to start sharing on the other one here. What I'm actually reading here. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, so we're right here is what it is. So Fox News reported that an investigation from Parents Defending Education found that 72 school districts received over $200 million from the 5 foundations, being Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, and et cetera there, from 2017 to 2021, so a 5-year span from 2017 to 2021, while most of the money went to Denver Public Schools in Colorado. Somebody better tell Honda about that one. And Battle Creek Public Schools in Michigan, as well as Duke in that one. Funds also went towards 8 other districts in Texas, Florida, Kentucky, Ohio, which is exactly why we're fighting the shit with parental rights bills, by the way, and, of course, California. So, yeah. People in Texas, like NEA, figure that shit out, man. People in Florida, figure it out there, man. We're dealing with it. Well, I guess Florida technically is already dealing with it there because of their parental rights bills and stuff. We here in Ohio are doing the same exact thing. Kentucky, figure your shit out. California, you're already fucked, so it's whatever. But anyway, as Fox News pointed out, that the Gates Foundation also provided monetary support to implement equity-focused programming, such as equitable grading. So literally, the stupidest kids in the class get fucking C's instead of F's, even though they failed the fucking courses, what it is. Said through the Denver Public Schools Foundation, the Baltimore City Public Schools Fund for Educational Excellence, the New York City Department of Education Fund for Public Schools, Inc., and the Turin County Office of Education, or Tulane, T-U-L-A-R-E. So the Collective for Academic, Social, Emotional Learning also received financial support from several of the foundations, but reported that the Allstate Foundation is listed on CASEL's website as a corporate sponsor. CASEL has endorsed the core tenets of critical race theory. Of course they have, because they're a bunch of fucking racists. A bunch of anti-white racists, I should say, on that one, just to be specific on that. Let's see. It said Breitbart also reported that the CASEL published a blog post from the queer mathematics teacher, an education consulting firm run by self-described queer Latinx independent math coach and activist scholar who seeks to embed gender identity ideology into math courses. What the fuck? How is that person not fired on the spot, dude? That's my question on that. What the fuck does gender identity have to do with math? Nothing. That's what. Fuck these fucking people, man. Seriously. Says 26 parent organizations wrote a letter to 5 foundations remarking our organizations find it deeply troubling that grants are being used to advance these patronizing politics or policies. It said students deserve to be treated as individuals and not members of identity groups. Exactly. But that's the whole point, dude. Because pieces of shit like Zuckerberg and Gates literally want to divide and conquer us, dude. And that's what it is at the end of the day. It's the exact same thing with the rest of these scumbag globalists, dude. Their fucking endgame is to divide and conquer. Because they know if they can divide us as a fucking nation, they can conquer us very easily, is what it is. So, anyway. Where are we at now? Yeah, it's a co-founder of Moms for Liberty, Tiffany Justice, told Fox News, "We as parents would like to see the focus put back on academic achievement, where our kids are being given practicable skills." Said, meanwhile, President of Parents Defending Education, Nicole Nelly, added that, quote, "A number of these programs, equity, social emotional learning, are actually being used to push a lot of identity-based programming. It's called indoctrination, lady. Say it like it is. It's literally indoctrinating your children into fucking communist bullshit is what it is. Say it correctly." Anyway, this is a spokesperson for the W.K. Kellogg Foundation defended the race-based approach to education, saying, "Investments in racial equality and racial healing, comprehensive community engagement, and local, diverse, and intergenerational leadership are essential to propelling children to achieve success in the classroom and beyond." That's what that motherfucker should have got. A smack in the fucking mouth, dude. Said Nelly explained that these programs were not confined to blue states or large cities, but that are pushed for woke education is happening in red states and happening in small cities. That's the entire point, dude. It's indoctrination. It's been indoctrination forever is what it is. So it's a bunch of bullshit entirely, dude. It's exactly what we need to sue these school systems and start putting shit in place in these red states, dude. And if anybody's got a fucking problem with kids not being indoctrinated, then maybe they maybe they need to be tossed as teachers. What it is, dude. If you want to sit there and indoctrinate the kids, you don't need to be in teaching education anymore, dude. You know, I talked about it the other day in one of the grandstands about things that should be automatic termination things. If you're going to push any kind of socialist, communist crap as a educator, you don't need to be an educator anymore in this country. You should be blackballed for life from education. Same thing with policing. Same thing with everything like that, dude. If you're going to be sitting there and trying to be a jackbooted thug as a cop, you don't need to be a cop anymore. If you're going to do the same bullshit as some fucking other asshole, you don't need to be that thing anymore either, is what it is, dude. Nursing, etc. there. So, anyway. Then we got, where are we at here? Sorry, I'm trying to grab my tabs up. Then we got this one here, which is 50 pro-life groups sound alarm on taxpayer funding for abortions at VA clinics. It's fucking disgusting, dude. Said roughly 50 pro-life groups sent a letter to the U.S. House and Senate on Tuesday warning that taxpayer money could end up funding abortions at the Department of Veterans Affairs under a new rule put forth by Biden's bullshit fake administration. Said the letter details how a portion of the $71 million increase in funding from appropriations bills totaling $911 million for the Office of Women's Health at the VA will be used to, quote, underwrite the transformation of veterans' health facilities into abortion centers under the informal final rule, which provides funding for abortion by the VA. So women veterans deserve quality life affirming medical care. Instead, the VA has prioritized abortion extremism by investing in an illegal scheme to provide abortions at veterans' health facilities in violation of both state and federal laws. So the groups note that since 1992, the VA has been statutorily prohibited from using taxpayer funding for abortion, thereby prioritizing scarce resources for the life-affirming healthcare needs of American veterans. But in September 2022, Biden's bullshit administration ignored the long-standing statutory prohibition on taxpayer funding for abortions at the VA and issued a new rule that includes funding abortion for health reasons. Fucking disgusting, dude. Absolutely fucking sickening entirely. Fucking scumbag pieces of shit is what it is, dude. Jesus fucking Christ. Fucking John Boehner, the biggest piece of shit ever from Ohio, cries in Nancy Pelosi tribute during Speaker Pelosi's portrait unveiling. You know what's a slap in the face to every founding father in this country? That pieces of shit criminals like this have a fucking portrait at the White House / Capitol Hill now, dude. So, which I think it's more like Capitol Hill. I think it's like the house or whatever hall there is what it is. That's probably going to be put in there. But yeah, either way, it's just slap in the face, dude. Fuck your bullshit portrait. Fuck wasting taxpayer money on stupid shit like this, because you know damn well that taxpayer money was wasted on the portrait of Pelosi's bitch ass, dude. Yeah, fuck all of it, dude. I'm so sick and tired of it, man. We need a good old-fashioned tax revolt in this country, for real. I think that would have changed. Well, if it had happened about 5 or 6 years ago, it probably would have changed things. Now it probably wouldn't do nothing because of the fact that you would have just a bunch of assholes printing money against what it is. So, anyway. Then we got a new poll claiming Trump leads DeSantis by 18 points in potential 2024 matchup. I'm going to go back to the actual headline part of this real quick, because some of this shit is just crazy. So you got Christine Sinema deflecting creates big 2024 election headache for Democrats. China sends 18 nuclear-capable bombers to harass Taiwan. If you want to know what's going to start World War III, it's shit like that right there, honestly, dude. So, not good. Not good at all, man. Let's see. Biden encouraged by Tillis Cinema amnesty for foreign worker expansion. So they bring a bunch more illegals into our fucking country with putting down our wages and screwing us over as American citizens again. Shocker. Then we got another batch of states joins in banning TikTok from government devices. I'm going to tell you right now, dude, if I ever become governor of Ohio, the first thing I'm doing, I'm banning TikTok from this entire state, honestly. It's not even going to be from just government devices either. It's going to be from any fucking person in any part of anything in the state. Like, what if you're a teacher, get that shit off your shit right now, dude, because it's a national security threat. And honestly, that's one thing that should be banned in this country at a nationwide level right now is the TikTok app, dude, because it is a fucking Chinese spying device. And it's a national security risk to us, dude. So it's just fucked up, man. If anybody wants to jump in on this, I'm going to go ahead and drop the link so we can talk about this a little bit more. So if y'all want to jump in on the StreamYard here, we can talk about how much of a piece of shit TikTok actually is and how it's basically screwed over our kids. Let's see here. Then we got China stops counting asymptomatic corona cases. Not surprising. Pretty much everybody in that country has one now.
What's up, brother?
Yes. Not much.
Yeah, fuck TikTok. And on all honesty, you know, I'm guilty of using. I don't use TikTok at all. I never have. Never downloaded the app. Nothing like that. But
Nope.
I'm guilty of using, you know, social media to an extent.
Yes, we all have to. At this point.
But dude, if it all went away tomorrow, I wouldn't fucking bat it. I wouldn't even shed a tear. I think it all needs to go away because all they're doing, they've actually, you know, admitted it to an extent that all it is information gathering and putting you know, certain people, if you fall on the wrong side of the aisle, putting you on a fucking list. It just watches you and it learns your fucking habits. Why do you think you may think, oh, I want to look up a cooler, and then for the next week or whatever, you get nothing but fucking cooler ads everywhere you go. It's ridiculous. I think social media needs to go away. It's been the detriment of the youth.
Okay, so let's see who's actually banning it right now. You got Kay Ivey, the oldest governor currently in office in America for Alabama. She banned it. made moves this week banning the app from state devices in its network. She said, quote, protecting the state of Alabama and its citizens' right to privacy is a must, and I surely don't take a security threat from China lightly. So after we discussed this with our OIT secretary, I came to the no-brainer decision to ban the use of TikTok app on our state devices and network. I'm no longer a TikTok user, but the device speaks for itself, and I want to make sure I'm doing everything we can as a state to stand against this growing security risk, Ivy added. Said Tuesday, Iowa Governor Kim Reynolds took similar action, directing the Iowa Department of Management Office of the Chief Information Officer to ban the Chinese-owned app from all government devices. Reynolds said, it's clear that TikTok represents a national security risk to our country, and I refuse to subject our citizens of Iowa to that risk. They trust us with their personal and confidential information, and we will take every step possible to protect it, including from the Chinese government, the safety of Iowans, and my number one priority, and that includes their cybersecurity.
Good. I don't think any public official in the government, no matter how big or small, I don't think they should have social media on their devices, period. Because you remember back in the mid to late 90s when the White House fucking banned Furbies from the premises?
Oh, yeah.
Because the fucking Furbies were learning everything and repeating shit. You remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Hello.
What's up, man? What's up? Oh, that's Christopher. What's up, man?
Not much. Yeah, I do not use TikTok. TikTok's one thing I've dodged like every time.
Dodge it like the Black Plague. When did it come out? Because I know it's been out for at least a couple years now that it's been like a Chinese-owned spy network.
It's been at least since 2020 that it's been a known Chinese app.
I thought so. I thought it had been at least a couple years, and
it might have been It might have been the end of 2019. Actually, now I'm thinking about it, because I think it was like 2017, 2018 is when it first became a thing. So,
well, either way, it could have been banned immediately then. But
besides Ivy and Kim Reynolds, you also had North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum following suit, banning TikTok from devices used in executive branch agencies. He said, protecting citizens' data is our top priority. Our IT professionals have determined, in consultation with federal officials, that TikTok raises multiple flags in terms of the amount of data it collects and how the data may be shared with and used by Chinese government. Reducing security risks is the right thing to do. We would offer NDIT's support to assist and advise any partner entities that wish to pursue similar measures. Other states have already taken action. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, for example, signed an executive order last month over the same national security concerns.
Does anybody know why I'm hearing things twice on here?
Did you open the chat and close out the YouTube?
How did I do that? I've never actually done this before.
Are you on obviously you're on a PC, right?
Yeah, okay, hold on. I think I see what the problem is.
Yeah, go back to the YouTube tab and close it out. That's why you're hearing double echo.
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's all good. We all started somewhere.
Yeah, this is the first time using this thing. Normally I come in under Southeast Prepping whenever I'm doing my videos, but
yeah, the other governors of South Carolina, Texas, Maryland, and Utah have also banned the app. So I'm surprised Ohio's not on this list, honestly. Or Texas. Well, I guess Texas will be on the list already. But yeah, I'm surprised Ohio hasn't joined this list, honestly. Might have to call up some state lawmakers in the next day or two and bitch them out on that one.
Mm-hmm. I think, like I said, I don't think any government official, no matter how big or small, if you're in the government, state level, local level, federal level, don't matter. You don't need this shit on your phones.
No,
actually,
you don't.
If they had a direct line to the Ohio House floor right now, I would just call that up right now because now they're in session currently in this late night session. Yeah, they've done that shit twice now in the past 3 years because they did it in 2019 as well. Or no, it was End of 2020, because that's when they passed Stand Your Ground at like 1 a.m.
At 1 a.m.?
Yeah, that was like the last thing that they passed that night. Because they're like, oh, well, you know, we got to get this all done because we don't want to come into work tomorrow because we want to get this General Assembly done faster. Technically, they have till the 21st to go to office, but I think they're going to go out tomorrow is what it is, and that's why they want to do all the shit now is what it is.
Do as much as they can as soon as they can, get it out of the way.
Well, and then you got Democrats bitching about, and this is the thing. I mean, I've talked about black supremacists. Stephanie House before, she's in the Cleveland City Council now because she had termed out this year. She bitched and moaned about Stand Your Ground back then because she's like, why are you all passing this in the middle of the night? I'm going to sue the state over this. And it's like, well, you could have passed it like 12 hours ago or like 12 weeks ago if you had come back into office sooner. Instead of taking like 2-month breaks, 3-month breaks.
And they know they do that shit on purpose because they know they can get away with it, for one. And two, it just gives them a reason to keep bitching about something because they always have to have something to bitch about. So they just can't help themselves, and they do it on purpose to hold shit up.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Well, the one that they were a bunch of legal women voters here, which are all Democrats, by the way. They claim to be bipartisan. They're not. They're all Democrat voters. They were bitching about this stuff right here, which is Ohio Senate backs voter ID laws, which I thought we already had in this state. I have to show my ID every time I vote. As well as host other election changes. Columbus, Ohio, Ohioans will be required to present photo ID at the voting booth and have fewer days to apply for absentee ballots or to vote early in person under a significantly rewritten bill that sped through the committee and floor votes on the Senate on Tuesday. Said legislation which cleared the Republican-controlled chamber 24-6 is the most stringent two sweeping election law overhaul speeding through the state house in the final days of the legislative season. Democrats and voting rights advocates, same people that, by the way, fucked with our maps for at least 6 months now this year and are the reason why we had to have 2 primaries here instead of just 1. Well, I never got on the ballot because I could have been a state senator next year if I had been able to get on the ballot. Still pisses me off to this day, honestly, on that one. But yeah, it said are creating a litany of unnecessary new hurdles for Ohio voters, which GOP lawmakers have said are protecting the integrity of Ohio elections. We are, by the way. Said neither bill's fate is secured. Ohio House bill, which is cleared committee Monday, had yet to receive House approval, while Senate bill is expected to face potentially pivotal Republican opposition in the House. State Rep Bill Seitz, who was the guy that actually watered down our Stand Your Ground or constitutional carry law this year, who was a sponsor of the House bill, told the Associated Press on Tuesday that he would vote against the Senate's more restrictive version. Cincinnati Republican and said his bill will automatically include voter registration, trims the post-election return window of mail-in ballots from 10 to 7 days, and allows County Board of Elections to place up to 3 ballot drop boxes at their office locations. By contrast, he said the Senate version of the bill doesn't allow voters to be automatically registered, trims down the window for mail-in ballots to just 4 days, and limits boards to a single drop box and prohibits it from being open after hours. He said this restricting hours in that way would make the drop boxes useless to voters who get to the board after the day and are second shift workers, which, you know, it is what it is at that point. But yeah, so basically it's voter ID laws and actually having like a drop box now instead of having like 50 drop boxes is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, on the day everybody votes, I think everybody should get like half a day off just so they can go out and vote. That way it's not interfering with much. That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, or at least just like a couple hours, you know, depending on where your voting location is, because it's, you know, I feel like it's your civic duty. You should vote.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, you shouldn't be forced to, but I mean, it's one of our fucking rights that we were granted the day we were born.
Yeah, given the opportunity to vote without it having to be rushed.
Mm-hmm.
From what a lot of the mainstream media was saying too on this is at least one of these bills, if they got passed through, would also restrict same day voting, which I've always been against anyway. to where you can just walk into a polling place and be like, I want to vote right now. And they can just sign you up right there and you can be voting. Like, bro, you had 364 more days before this to do that. So to me, and that's honestly like what a lot of what we saw with, what people were bitching about with voting integrity right now is what we saw because of that, honestly, in a lot of these states was same day voting.
Mm-hmm. You mean like actually on election day, or is
this people will go into the polls on election day and be like, I'm a first time voter. I want to fill out a ballot or whatever to vote. And they can, and depending on what state it's in, they can fill out a ballot right there and vote.
No, that's not how it's supposed to work. You used to have to get that card.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, because you brought up something that I've been questioning for a couple years now about the voter registration, the voter ID card.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You get a voter ID card when you get your license. Okay. And then you get one every year that's up to date. But the past couple of years, I've gone to vote, no matter if it's federal, local, whatever. They don't ask me for my voter ID card. They only ask for my driver's license.
I haven't got an ID card in 20 years.
I have never had an ID card. It's always been, please show us either a state ID or a driver's license. And that's how voter ID works in the state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but we actually get an ID card. It looks kind of like say your water bill or something.
Yeah, I know which card you mean. I haven't gotten one in 20 years.
Yeah, because this is an example of an Ohio license right here. It would basically be, they're like, oh, please give us your license. And you just hand them that license. They flip it into their little machine thing or whatever the case be and like scan it through the barcode thing at the bottom there. And then hand it back to you and you sign your name and stuff like that. And they make sure your signature matches up as what it is. And you can also do it with like passports and stuff too as well. Like this is the other forms of ID you can have as like passport and like military ID and stuff as well as one. So
those barcodes on the IDs, those are fairly new.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's also supposed to be some kind of chip inside them too.
Is there?
Yeah.
Well, they're trying to push for that real ID now. I know they said, I think it's in the next like 3 or 4 years now. If you don't have that, you can't fly anymore.
The fuck is that?
The real ID is that thing that they rolled out like 2019, I think is when it was. And it's basically, it's essentially like an ID with a passport on top of it is what it is. But it's nothing more than just a way to track you everywhere you go.
It's fucking really retarded, creepy. Man.
Yeah, it's super fucking creepy. It's. I think it had. I want to say it was one of the NDAs that was signed back into place in the past like 5-6 years now.
I wouldn't doubt if they started next year hardcore pushing the fucking mark of the beast and putting the chip in your fucking your arm or your hand or wherever, that has all your banking information, your fucking all your personal information on it. So you have that's your way of fucking paying for anything or doing anything. And if you don't tote the line, they'll just cut everything off and you're fucked. So I don't like banks in the first place. Keeping all your money in one spot isn't smart, in my opinion.
So yeah, most likely they're going to pass House Bill 485, which would be the voter ID laws then here.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be the one going to DeWine's desk then.
Well, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the corner here, this big dude talking right there, that's Najee Antani. That's the only guy that voted for gun rights when everybody else voted it down the other day. That crazy woman there is Paula Hicks Hudson, who's going to be part of the state senate next year.
Lord have mercy.
She's one of the ones that flip-flopped our General Assembly again. And this is the thing. This is what I don't understand about our General Assembly here in Ohio. We have term limits on both sides of the aisle for state house and state senate, just to make sure that they cannot flip-flop, and they still are able to flip-flop to the other side once they term out. It's like, bro, you had 8 years. Get the fuck out of here. We don't want you back. Leave. Please leave. Terry Johnson right there is the guy that actually, it was his version of constitutional carry that passed this year. So.
Awesome.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they put Terry stops in it after the fact. That was what watered it down.
Yeah. I would
Cecil Thomas, that dude is a hardcore black supremacist too. He is an asshole who's supposed to be out of our General Assembly this year, but then he ended up getting back into the state house side. So he's going to be out of the state senate going back over to the state house in 2023 now.
Well,
So
see, that's like when
ridiculous.
we passed constitutional carry here in Texas. One of the things that was on the bill that I wish would have went through, but they
Mhm.
pulled off because it kept going back and forth and not being agreed upon was if you're just like walking down the sidewalk and you're carrying, the police can't just stop you just because you're carrying. They took that out, so that's saying that the cops can just stop you because you're carrying and that's suspicious enough, whatever. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, actually, when I've talked about the in the past, when I've mentioned about the corruption in Ohio's General Assembly, if Cecil Thomas was investigated, he would be 100% in jail right now for taking bribes from Mosman Action.
Jesus, doesn't surprise me.
He's done it. Allison Russo, one of the state reps, is going to be back in for a third or fourth term this go around. She did it on fucking camera last year. There was a video from the House Oversight Committee in May of 2021
I remember.
when she literally was handed an envelope by a Moms Demand Action member, and there was no way it wasn't full of cash.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I told my state rep that, I'm like, Reggie, why are you guys not investigating this stuff? Oh, it's kind of hard to just investigate an envelope passing. Like, bro, you fucking know what's inside of it. Figure it out and investigate her.
Speaking of people getting envelopes, I still to this day want to know what the fuck was in all those envelopes that everybody got at Bush Senior's funeral. Remember the expression Hillary got when she opened hers? I would love to know what the fuck was in those.
I don't remember. Wait, when was that?
That was when Senior died.
Okay.
Bush Senior. I believe it was Bush Senior when they had the funeral and everybody had these fucking envelopes and they're opening them up and Hillary looked at hers and had this like, oh fuck face on her, expression.
Okay, when I look it up, this is the pictures that I found for that.
Y'all don't remember that?
I don't know. Most of the time I look at her, I see a scarecrow.
I don't know.
True.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's the pictures from it. I don't know.
I can't really see.
Yeah, it's
I
like
think
Trump and a bunch of
maybe,
other people there. Well, there's
maybe
Bush Jr. laughing. So. Are you talking about that picture right there? Everybody's just sitting on the.
No, there's one particular picture that it's of Hillary and she's looking at it and she's just looking at Bill and it's like, what the fuck?
I don't know.
I don't remember, but
yeah, there's a picture of some envelopes in it with Jeb Bush. So
it was not talked about.
Yeah, it's probably one of those things that was hardcore like downgraded because it was something weird.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably something like, you're the fourth in line now. You're the fifth in line now.
You're going to prison soon.
No, it probably was one of those things where it's like, okay, politically shifted, like you're now one level down from where you used to be, kind of thing. This is who's ahead of you now. Well, it's like the same exact thing when you look at Bilderberg and stuff like that. It was Rothschilds, Rockefellers, and Soros were the top three families of that thing. And when I forget which Rockefeller it was that died, that family immediately went down to 4 in line, and the royal family took third then. And Soros went to number 2 then.
Really?
Yeah. Like that was how they shifted things, because it was basically you no longer had how'd they put it? It was something about like the patriarch or whatever of the Rockefeller family was gone, so they didn't have enough power anymore or something is how they put it or something. It was like a weird shift. It happened like 5-6 years ago, maybe longer than that. But
not to change the subject though, but did y'all catch the very beginning of Matt's chat earlier?
I missed the first 20 or so minutes of it.
I
was there for most of it.
I got a new something today.
Was it 37? Oh yeah, that.
Yeah, 2 Taurus 38s. This one I got like a week or so ago, and this is the one I picked up today. They're both 85s.
Yeah.
They're identical except, snubby 3 inch. So got a matching pair now.
The grips
this is mine. This is my wife's.
A little bit longer though.
Huh?
The grips on that snub nose look.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
No, they're actually identical.
Oh.
I've already looked at them. It's just the angle of the picture or the camera and everything.
Yeah, I see what you mean now.
Yeah.
But this is my wife's Christmas present, because when I bought this one, She was like, "Ooh, that's pretty. Where's mine? Or I mean, where's yours?" I'm like,
Now
Oh.
you gotta buy another one.
this one, I was actually on a certain website and I won in
Nice.
an auction. So, and it just got here yesterday. Actually got fucking delayed yesterday for it, and of course you're not gonna never know why you got delayed. But they called me early this morning, like, "Oh yeah, you can come pick up your gun." So
Yeah.
the only thing is that new one, the cylinder is just a little loose, and the cylinder button, right? You mash it to open the cylinder. I don't know if you can hear it. You hear it?
Yeah.
It's a little loose.
Yeah. I thought I heard a little rattle in there.
Yeah, there's a little rattle. But I like the snubby better. But
There's
yeah,
only really certain wheel guns I actually liked, and that's like the old 357 style, like a
Yes.
dirty hairy gun.
And I love that the fact that I was able to find one just like the one I already have, with the wood grips, with the original finish,
Yeah.
because it's the original bluing. Because the stuff they use now is not very, in my opinion, it's crap. But one thing I kind of found odd is when I went up there to pick it up today, the guy got one of those little, I guess, little magnifying glass things that goes around your eye when you're looking at jewelry.
Yeah.
And he looked at who imported it. And the snub nose version actually says on the other side, made in Brazil, but assembled in the United States, and is imported through Miami.
Yeah.
Well, this new one, it just says made in Brazil, but it doesn't say assembled in the USA. And it's imported by Davis, what does it say? Davison's Prescott, Arizona. And he thought that was interesting because they didn't import a lot of stuff, is what he said. So I don't know what that really means. But I just found it was kind of cool that it's a little different. I guess it came from Brazil. Someone brought it over. I don't know.
I mean, most Taurus guns were made in Brazil and imported for decades. So,
Well, yeah, but this one doesn't say it.
it doesn't have
It
an
does,
import
like
marks or whatever.
one says assembled in U.S., the other doesn't. So I just found it kind of weird.
Yeah, that's strange. I don't know. I know the G2C I got back in 2018, it specifically has made in Brazil on the side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Or assembled in Brazil, one of the two. I forget which it. Yeah, it had Miami, Florida, because that's where they used to be located at. And on the other side says made in Brazil. So, and I think all the new ones say made in America now because they have the factory in Georgia now where they're making them there.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I lucked out, and the price on the both were at the exact same price as what I paid for each of them. And so I couldn't beat the price.
Yeah, unfortunately, everything I got there right after a pandemic hit, so all my stuff was pricey as hell.
Yeah, I tried not to buy during the pandemic. It was hard. I wanted to so bad, but I was not going to pay those ridiculous prices. It's like I'm sure these two right here probably were going for at least double during the pandemic.
I bought a Sky during the pandemic, and it cost me over $400.
Oh my God,
Jesus.
dude. Jesus. These two, a piece was 250 beans.
Nice.
That's not bad.
Well, I traded off a Sky for a Beretta with my best friend, and because he has small hands, so he couldn't carry a Beretta, he couldn't hold it right. And I said, "Hey, I got a Sky," and he goes, "Okay."
What Beretta?
It's 92.
Dude, you got the better deal.
Yeah.
I call that a fucking win.
That's
Yeah,
like the one deal that I made one time. Back when Arms List, you still could do free things on there before Bloomberg sued them when you had to pay for services and stuff.
Hmm.
I traded up my Ruger LCP for a Smith & Wesson Airweight.
Nice. That's a
Yeah.
good trade too.
Because the guy was like, I really wanted to, because apparently he had a Ruger LCP before, and he was like, yeah, I'm kind of sad I got rid of it, and I kind of wanted to get another one. And I was like, you're cool with this trade being like $200 in my favor, right? And he's like, yeah, it's whatever. So,
Hey, as long as he's happy, you're happy. Who gives a shit?
Yep.
That's like with you, Christopher. I mean, if you don't mind me calling you that.
Yeah.
That's a fucking hell of a deal. As long as both parties are happy, who cares?
Yeah, that's how I looked at it. Because I'd gotten it specifically for concealed carry when the constitutional carry passed. But every time I held that thing, it felt like I was holding a toy. And he needed something with a smaller grip on it, and this guy had the smaller grip. So we just swapped out. My very first one I bought during the pandemic was a 40 millimeter Taurus because it was all I had, which is a pain to find magazines for because it's like some ancient thing. It's like the 101 P something, and it's really rare to find.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go to a gun show to find a magazine, and all they had was one magazine.
Ugh.
That's why I don't like buying. That's like right now. I know the Carcanos are really cheap, but trying to find stripper clips for them or ammo is hard. And when you do, the shit's fucking expensive.
Oh yeah.
So it's not worth buying the firearm at a great deal.
Yeah, especially you can't get the magazine, the clips, or the freaking ammo for it for a decent price.
Yeah. Did you guys hear about this one the other day? San Antonio, Texas. There was a counter-protest about some drag show going on there with kids involved and stuff.
Oh, not another one.
Yep. Where at?
San Antonio, Texas. Downtown San Antonio. Chants of hey, hey, ho, ho, homophobia's got to go.
And it's not even about homophobia.
No, it's not. But that's the way they love to spin this shit.
Good old Fred Gutenberg bitching about house insurance going up there in Florida and trying to blame DeSantis for it. Obviously, that was the guy whose claim to fame was that his daughter was one of the kids murdered in Parkland. He was the one that was bitching at Trump's State of the Union 3 years ago, I think, when Pelosi invited him there about gun control. So, yeah, because he's a fucking scumbag too, because he was trying to fuck with Ohio elections as well and endorse candidates here. And I'm like, dude, you're not even from the state. Stay the fuck out of my politics. So, let's see if there's anything else worth talking about here. Oh, you got Gene Simmons pushing vaccines. That dude has had so much Botox in his life. Let's see. Biden pledges U.S. taxpayers to pay South Africa $8 billion to shut down their coal plants.
What's he expecting to replace them with?
There's a great documentary I saw once. I forget exactly what the name of it was, but they were talking about these kids that are known as burner boys over in some African continent. And their entire thing is all of our used up electronics and stuff like that are sent over to that country. Yeah. And they'll literally burn wires down to copper in these like crazy little like burn pit puddles. And it's just ungodly amounts of smoke in the air that's just toxic like crazy, and it kills these kids by the time they're like 30.
Yeah.
And they make like, I think it's like $2 a bundle of different copper and like other wire stuff. It's just really
they're
sad.
Doing what they gotta do to survive for as long as they're gonna survive.
Yeah. We got Rittenhouse talking about the Twitter files. In fact, people are upset about Twitter files. Shows how much people in today's society hate truth, especially when the facts don't match their agendas.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, no shit.
You heard about him getting sued by Huber's father, right?
No.
Yeah, there's a pair. I was watching a John Crump video the other day from like a month ago, and Crump was talking about how Rittenhouse apparently is involved in a lawsuit by I forget what Anthony Hoover's dad's name is, but he's trying to sue Kyle and he's trying to sue the city of Kenosha and the state of Wisconsin for his son's wrongful death.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
I did hear about that. Wrongful death, my ass.
No
Fuck
kidding.
that.
He literally killed himself. He pulled the fucking rifle at himself.
Yeah, that. I understand you're upset that your child died.
That
That's
one's
terrible.
just ridiculous too, by the way. People who
I mean-
skip their corona vaccine at higher risk of traffic accidents, according to a new study. Yeah, I'm just like, really, bro? Yeah, just silly ass shit like that. Yeah, let's see what Tim Pool said. He's talking to Jack Posobiec, so there's a new player in town. Also, groomers does not mean LGBTQ. Media Matters is trying to congregate pedophiles with LGBT community for some reason.
Trying to protect them. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like, there obviously, like, there is people that are against them, and like gays against groomers and stuff like that. Is what
Oh
it
yeah.
is. But there's definitely like an uptick in these fucking people in this community. Is what it is.
That's because they're
Nobody
feeling
wants to call it out.
empowered because of
Mhm.
all the media press.
Oh,
Damn.
that dude got fucked up. That was apparently a de-escalation in Detroit, Michigan. They just
Yeah,
knocked
it's
that motherfucker
Detroit.
to the ground. Oh, that's okay. I remember that. That was from during 2020 rioting and stuff. Yeah, so that's a really old video
The
then.
summer of love, right?
Yeah. I think there was more to that story though, because that dude had been like bowing up on the cops for like a good 10 minutes before that, and they were just like finally had enough of his shit, is what it was.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like, "Fuck you, buddy." So, actually, one of the best videos I ever saw. It was this dude that was telling the cops, he's just like, spray me," or something like that, and this fucking cop just unloads a full bottle of OC spray right into his face.
I vaguely seem to remember seeing something like that.
Like and there was actually memes made of it after the fact of like the power of Christ compels you and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Well, you got what you asked for.
Let's see what this one's about. Let's see, Andy, no. Marty Cummings is a non-binary drag queen who has been invited to the White House to celebrate the Respect for Marriage Act signing. Cummings styles itself as a role model and mentor for children, despite being revealed to make sexually explicit content. It's fucked up. That whole, I feel like that whole entire passage of stuff right there is probably going to get lawsuited at some point in the future for First Amendment stuff. Because there's no way that the one clause in it is not going to target straight people.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's just ridiculous. Oh, actually, this was a good one. Good old Guns and Deals talking about Antifa kids. Wants to punch people in the face, can't even make a proper fist.
Gonna break his fist.
He's gonna break his damn thumb for sure on that one. That dude, honestly, if you took the mask off, this guy looks like some dude I used to play Magic the Gathering with. Although that guy wasn't a communist piece of shit, he was actually a good dude, but
Yeah.
he would just be like his actual commie doppelganger is what it would be then.
Well, everybody's supposed to have a double out there somewhere.
Yeah. Some New Yorkers aren't happy that $15 an hour minimum wage has increased food prices. Yeah, nobody saw that coming or anything. Just like good old Nina Turner the other day talking about $25 an hour minimum wage and stuff like that. That woman is such a fucking clown.
Where
$25 an hour.
What's that?
Where would they get the extra money? And then you got to raise prices because people are being paid more.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
Well,
not
the-
fucking feasible.
what's funny with Nina Turner's ass when she was talking about the $25 an hour minimum wage thing, by the way, she's a former Ohio State senator. That's the only job she's ever had. was being in part of our state senate at one point, and then she failed to run for other offices and for actual federal Congress a couple times now.
So she's kind of like Beto. She was there once.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, again, going to the black supremacy thing, she loves to play the race card every chance she gets. Like, that's her only card in her deck besides communism. It's either that or communism. She's also been a Bernie Sanders advocate for like the last 8 to 10 years now. So
speaking of Beto O'Rourke, do y'all actually expect him to try to fucking run for anything again soon?
he'll probably run for like mayor of some Texas town or something at this point, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that might be about the only thing he gets. And it'd have to be one hell of a blue town.
Yeah, like maybe like El Paso or San Antonio, you know, somewhere that's blue.
One of those they got to start. And then they got tired of his shit and ran him out.
Well, I don't understand why he just doesn't want to move to like California or New York or Chicago, somewhere where he actually has a shot at maybe doing something.
They're trying to plant his ass over here so they can start working from his shadows to start influencing more Texans. That's what they're trying to do with him.
Are you in Texas?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I'm down here by Beaumont.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I know Beaumont.
Yeah, I'm right in between Beaumont and Lufkin.
I know where I've been to Lufkin. You know where Milam is?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I just can't place it.
It's over there by like Toledo Bend.
Yeah, okay. You know where Woodville is?
Vaguely.
It's right in between Beaumont and Lufkin.
Okay, yeah, I've probably been through there. I just don't.
Yeah, that's where I live.
Okay. Yeah, I used to go down there all the time to Milam. I have a family cabin down around Milam, and I would always go a little further the other way and go down to Matagorda.
Yeah.
Kind of makes you wonder who's funding AARP in this state now.
Why?
Because they were the ones calling on our current House Speaker to remove voter ID laws from the bill.
Oh, well, they're trying to get woke.
Speaker Cupp and Allison Russo. And I'm like, there's somebody's screw job in there. Yeah, let's see. Consideration of apprenticeships. Yeah, they're basically talking about, people over the age of 50 can't get IDs. Like, what?
Huh?
Yeah, that's what they said. It said, this is the people from AARP Ohio. It said, "Dear legislative leaders," and it was to Cupp and minority leader Allison Russo is what she's considered in the state right now. Said, "I'm writing today regarding the newly added voter identification provisions to Ohio House Bill 458, AARP Ohio, on behalf of 1.5 million members and all older Ohioans, supports policies to advance a thriving community that allows our state's 50-plus population to age in place. This includes protecting the rights of Ohioans 50-plus to vote freely, easily, and safely. Older Ohioans vote in disproportionately higher numbers. We believe they should continue to be encouraged to participate in the electoral process, and that any changes to voting processes should ensure increased access, fairness, and simplicity. For those reasons, we respectfully ask that the newly added voter identification provisions in House Bill 458 be removed from the bill. We believe the proposals such as these would be the best debated in the next General Assembly, with the benefit of hearings and a full and open discussion to consider how changes to the law will impact all Ohioans. AARP believes that the right to vote, along with free and fair representation, comprises the basic tenets of democracy. We're a constitutional republic, you dumb motherfuckers. AARP has long advocated for fair and simple procedures that facilitate this high level of participation. Past research has also shown that older voters are disproportionately affected by voter ID laws. No, they're not. As many can lack the proper identification. Again, it's not that hard to go get an ID, even a state ID for that matter, in this state, which lasts like 10 years now, by the way. So we also want
$10.
I got one, I think like 2 years ago, and it was like 18 or 19.
Okay, so, it's still not too terrible.
Let's see. So we also want to encourage all Ohio's 50-plus population to exercise their voices in elections. Understand that state lawmakers have a responsibility to balance these two elements, but doing so responsibly and with significant debate is crucial. So thank you for your consideration of this important issue, and introducing these proposals in the next General Assembly will allow Ohioans to fully engage. Important to maximize participation. We welcome the opportunity to discuss this issue further. And then it was the people from AARP that we wrote them, is what it was. So, yeah, they're not going to hear back from them. Like, that's just not going to be a thing. Like, they're going to pass this probably tonight, and it's going to be like, nah, bro, we don't care what you have to say here.
Right.
Let's see. Let's see what Biden say. When a person can be married in the morning and thrown out of a restaurant for being gay in the afternoon, this is still wrong. Where the fuck is that happening? The 1960s? Like, seriously. Like, this man has to be talking about things that happened in his own lifetime like 60 years ago.
Has to be.
It was probably him throwing out some gay couple too, is my guess. Honestly, the place he worked at in the 60s.
Right? What a joke. God, I can't stand that son of a bitch.
Yeah, he's such a fucking douchebag. Let's see what Jim Jordan said. 51 former intelligence officers told us the Hunter Biden laptop was disinformation. This was false. Turns out the real disinformation campaign was created by our own government and woke Twitter executives. Yep. I would love to see Jim Jordan be the next Speaker of the House at this point. I don't think it's going to happen, though, unfortunately. They keep wanting to shove Kevin McCarthy in there. New autopsy report reveals those who died suddenly were likely killed by the corona vaccine. I'm so shocked.
All right.
Yeah, man, I tell you.
I don't know if it's true or not.
That coming.
But
Ooh,
I
that's some
heard
bad
something
fire.
earlier today that there was a new study done that if you're unvaxxed, you are 72% higher of having a traffic accident, like a major wreck.
We just talked about that like 2 minutes ago, man.
Yeah.
Right there.
My bad. I stepped away for a second.
Yeah. Yeah, people
They were saying how doctors need to get involved in shit, and God almighty. This shit's fucking retarded.
That dude just fired off a round inside of that classroom.
Oh, it happens more than you think where police fucking are retarded and end up popping off around or shooting themselves.
That's some kind of military with an AK, so it looks like some kind of Russian country.
Or UK.
Yeah. Well, he flipped the mag out and flipped a mag in that was actually loaded, racked around, and fired a shot. And then he realized.
And then got stares off.
Yeah, he's like, oops.
Nothing to see here. You didn't see nothing. You didn't hear nothing.
Yeah, at least this jackass is gone, though. The luggage thief himself.
Oh, yeah, the Wish.com Matt Damon.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That dude just looks like a psycho in general.
Yeah,
especially from that mugshot.
Yeah.
It looks like a serial killer in that mugshot, actually.
Mm-hmm.
How that dude ever got to anything in the energy sector is beyond me. Let's see anything else we're talking about here. Let's see, Musk using Twitter files to discredit foes and push conspiracy theories, according to NPR.
No, it's NPR.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
Good old Carrie Lake. Apparently, it was on Tucker Carlson talking about her lawsuit against the state of Arizona now. I can't believe Blake Masters conceded Mark Kelly over that as well. Like, never concede to these fucking people, man.
With the fortification.
It's so ridiculous. Like, there's no fucking way that Mark Kelly won that shit. Like, never concede.
Mm-hmm.
Sue and out it all, man. Well, even like Katie Hobbs, like her being Secretary of State, she should never be able to run. Although you can say the same exact thing in Georgia in 2018 because Brian Kemp was Secretary of State there at the time. And the only reason the only reason he was governor after that was because he stopped the vote counting for Stacey Abrams and kept finding votes for hers when it was all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I was gonna say, be like Stacey Abrams and don't concede.
Let's see. Biden, in a world where inflation is raising in double digits in many major economies around the world, it's coming down in America. No, it's not. Literally went to the store yesterday and it was like twice the price for everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when you're paying almost $4 for a gallon of milk, you're
that one is actually the funniest thing. AOC climate change documentary earns $80 per theater where it was played at.
Yep. Actually, I think she did a little bit better than Joe Biden's fucking book. Remember her whining and complaining that no one was buying her book? She only sold what, like maybe 200 copies.
I'm gonna be serious though. I would hate fuck the shit out of her. just once, and I'm not gonna go into detail after that of what I would do after that because I would be the only one leaving that room.
Are you talking about Jill or AOC?
No, Cortez.
Okay, because we're talking about Jill, and then
no,
Years
not Joe
like
Biden.
that.
Ugh. No, not Joe Biden.
He's going for some MILF action there.
No, I'd be going one time with AOC and then never again.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people will probably hate fuck her.
Oh yeah.
Well, she's like, that's the thing, and it depends exactly like how she is photographed or how she is filmed or whatever the case be, because she can be ugly sometimes, but then she definitely has some like a little bit of attractiveness to her other times. Like that particular picture right there, she's not bad looking in.
No.
And I think that's kind of why she has a following, because she's like semi-moderately attractive. And it's a bunch of people that are all like, oh yeah, I agree with your climate change stuff. Because they're not smart enough to know any better because they're a bunch of young kids in most cases.
Yeah.
So, let's see here.
It's a bunch of simps for pretty much what it is.
Delta Teams, Journeyman rifle. It's a nice looking gun. Although to be fair, compared to PSA, I think it's like $100-something more or something. So I think that's more like the 5s than it is in the 4s. So
yeah, I just like the look of that that rail.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Let's see. Attorneys are investigating whether Elon Musk lied on his application for U.S. citizenship. It shows that he lied anywhere on the application. It's likely he could be stripped of U.S. citizenship and deported back to Africa. Like, wouldn't that be the same thing for people like Ilhan Omar?
Or Obama?
Yeah, exactly. Or really anybody that's a foreign national holding power in this country right now.
I don't think
Like Kamisha Sawant.
I think Ilhan Omar should be in prison for treason, amongst other things, because that bitch, she fucking divorced her husband to marry her brother to get him citizenship, divorced him and married her husband again.
Her and her husband need to be locked up.
Yep. Which one? Her husband or her brother husband?
Both.
Well, it's just like Kamisha Sawant there.
Send the one guy back and lock the other one up.
This is the Seattle City Council woman that was directly tied to the creation of the Chaz 3 years ago or 2 years ago. Yeah. And then she cheated her way back into office after being recalled. She is a foreign national from India initially. She is, I believe, her political party is Socialist Alternative, I want to say. And if it wasn't for her, there would have never been a second Chaz created on Durkin's front door there, who was the mayor of Seattle at the time. Because she actually knew Durkin's address where nobody else did, because it was private information because Jenny Durkin worked for Obama's administration at one point and had her stuff concealed for privacy reasons or something. So, and then it was 12
Member
hours
of
later is when
Socialist
Chaz was gone.
Alternative and AFT.
Yeah. 1789. I'm actually gonna look that up to see what that even is at this point because that sounds fucking weird.
Yeah, I was thinking Biden.
AFT, Seattle Colleges, Local 1789. Oh, it's some kind of
Okay.
union. It looks like, yeah, American Federation of Teachers Union. Okay, that makes sense.
All
Oh
right.
god, that's even worse then. Yeah, that makes sense because she was a college professor at one point, if I'm not mistaken. So
I was thinking what Biden said when he called the ATF AFT.
Yeah.
yeah, no, it'd be Teachers Union. Again, that's exactly why our schools are so fucked because you got commies like this being teachers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, there was something that she was saying the other day that was fucking nuts. And I called her out on it. Actually, no, maybe I should look at my own tweets now. I'm thinking about it because probably easier to find my stuff on here. Yeah, where am I now? Maybe it's not here. No, it wasn't. Okay, never mind. But yeah, Swan's a fucking nut job though. And she should have caught probably like 24 felonies for the Chaz. So what's this? White House hosting drag queens today, dressed up in full drag to perform for children in schools. Good Lord. That is a scary, scary situation. Lauren Boebert finally won again, though. So that was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
See, establishment is negotiating over $16 billion in earmarks for the latest spending bill. Our tax dollars are treated like monopoly money. And it'd be $1.7 trillion if the omnibus bill goes through, actually. Which is fucking nuts. Let's see what FPC is saying. Every FUD that says it's just a bump stocks, or nobody uses pistol braces, or those triggers don't help, or defends idiocy like take the guns first, is falling victim to the regime's disarmament agenda and one of their useful idiots. Which an article was talking about. Let's talk about repealing the Second Amendment.
Yep, I saw that too.
I prefer to talk about the Second Revolution, but that's my opinion on that one. Yeah, it's just, oh my God. Although, to be fair, those are the same people that have been with the NRA for what, like 40 years now or more?
Yeah, those
So-
people. Look,
I thought we were rid of the fucking NRA, like a year or two ago.
The problem is, and this is something I personally have seen, this is why I won't go to gun shows, is because every gun show around here is like, if you sign up to be an NRA member, you can get in free, or if you renew, you can get in free. And I'm like, I don't want to be part of this fucking shit organization, dude.
Fuck no. Have my money go straight to Wayne
Wayne.
Lapierre's fucking pocket.
Yeah. Let's see. Kamala praised as much better, more effective politician than she looks.
Oh, Camel Toe Harris, who literally
God.
fucked her way to the top.
I think
That's gonna be
you know
able
what
to hold
the
office.
craziest part of her ever getting into office was the Willie Brown storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was obviously a stripper at some strip club when he found her and then got her into, I think it was a DA ship is what it was. And the fucked up part about that dude is he has ties to Jim Jones in Jonestown. He was actually a big backer of Jim Jones back before Jonestown happened in the 70s. Because he was a politician all the way back then. And it's like, bro, come on now.
I mean, I understand everyone has a past and everything, but isn't it awful funny that these people like this, their past don't come back to bite them in the ass when they were trying to run for a political office, but a lie like with Brett Kavanaugh, could fucking stain your entire fucking career.
Oh, yeah. Well, there was that one. I forget what that movie was now. It was the one where the chick was a serial killer and Vince Vaughn was the actual serial killer. I forget what it was called. It came out a couple years ago. They actually did that thing in there and we're trying to make like 3 of the guys that were supposed to be like a gang rape trio or something like that, and a Brett Kavanaugh and his buddies. Like, it was really fucked up. Was Hollywood doing that portrayal? And
Yep,
almost nobody caught it.
Yeah. Even though it was a lie, you know, they still run with it as if it's true.
Yep, Steven Crowder calling out the dude who had complete authority of what went out on Twitter, flagged your tweets as misinformation, hate speech, or simply took them down if he did not like them. Let's see what this dude was saying there. See, Yoel Roth tweeted, I enjoy having the kinds of meetings where Googling gay bareback porn is considered academic work. A member of my cohort at Penn has proposed co-founding a blog called Hackers and Porn. Needless to say, I'd be writing the porn side. Okay, so it's basically something about being a pedo is what it is there.
Yeah, and didn't Elon shut all that shit down?
Yeah, I think he was one of the first guys that was fired there.
Yep.
Yep. Talking about toddlers and tiaras. Yeah, that guy's definitely a child molester.
Yep, needs to be in prison. Actually needs, you know.
I mean, I've talked about the one strike law stuff before. So
I can't really say on the internet, but I
I'll
think
fucking say it myself. If I was a sitting governor right now, Ohio would have one strike clause in it. If you were caught with child porn, you get life imprisonment. If you have done stuff to children, you are executed publicly. And it's as simple as that. And if we dealt with it correctly like that, you wouldn't have this fucking issue anymore.
nope. I like your take.
Yep, same here.
Nail them to the wall. Where I'm at to go.
Lives at TikTok. Students from across Oregon were given the survey from the government to fill out in school. It asks 6th graders questions about their gender and sexuality and includes over a dozen options for genders. Jesus.
You know, I guarantee if they brought back public hangings in the town square and tar and feathering the politicians, you know, for treason and whatever, shit would fucking start shipping up quickly, wouldn't it?
Oh, you'd have them begging for life imprisonment at that point for the most part.
Yeah, but we can't afford to keep them in prison for the rest of their lives, so they're SOL.
Well, I mean, if they're already like 80 or 90, it's like,
Well,
it could be that many more years then.
Yeah, that is most of our politicians right now, after all.
Let's see what this one is. Protesters take tear gas canisters to the face in Peru. Okay, this is the thing that we were talking about the other day. Off camera. Where there's that thing popping off there in Peru with a bunch of rioting and stuff like that versus the cops.
You know,
It's fucking nuts, man. Yeah, I think there's that's the one thing I think is interesting when you look at American mainstream media right now. They're never talking about these kind of stories going across the countries in this world. Because I know if they did, you'd see a lot of pop-offs here, I think, in general.
well, there's like, what, 8 police there with the, damn, shot him right
maybe 10. But
Okay,
yeah,
well,
you have
so-
this. Like, this is the most recent one. You had that one in Sri Lanka like 3-4 months ago, and that was over like inflation and gas stuff and whatnot. You've had at least 1 or 2 in France this year. I know there's been, I want to say 1 in the UK, 1 in Britain, and a couple other different countries as well. I think there's been at least there was 1 in Brazil after Bolsonaro got fucked out of the presidency there.
Mhm.
That was like 3 weeks ago. So
Yeah, there's like 10 there. They're easily outnumbered by double, close to triple.
yeah,
If they just got bum rushed, they're fucked.
yeah. Well, the thing is too, it's like, what do you really have for like guns? Like pistols, like a revolver, probably.
At that point,
Because that's
you're
what most of those
pissed.
countries are. It's literally revolvers that they keep having as their primary
Yeah.
arms. What were you gonna say though?
I said the people, they got their fist and they got rocks. So
Yeah.
I mean, Cain killed Abel with a rock.
Yeah.
It can be done.
Well, then you just take a police shield and start smacking them with it too.
Hmm
So,
Go all fucking Tyrion Lannister on their asses. Remember that scene?
probably. Let's see. Fascists go home chants from the group in support of the drag show outside the Arctic Theater in San Antonio. Fucking people. Actually, the group, when they were doing that in Columbus here like 2 Saturdays ago, the group there was smaller than this group, actually, that was pro drag queen. So, might be too that it's just weather related as well, because I know it's decent there where we're like in the 30s here right now. So, and people don't like being cold when they're protesting.
Yeah.
It's riot season. It's getting warm again.
Yeah, I wish the winter could last a long time. Keep that shit from happening. I mean, you want to be a drag queen, go for it. But when you start fucking involving children, no.
Okay, there's some more about that ex-Twitter executive censor guy and his boyfriend Nicholas Messin say they've been forced to flee their Bay Area mansion after the guy's past writings arguing for letting kids use gay hookup apps like Grindr were shared by Elon Musk. Wow.
Jesus.
Well, to be fair, it was Scott Wiener, I think is what the guy's name is. That's one of the California state reps or whatever. And that dude was the one that pushed for legislation that would allow 24-year-old gay men to hook up with 14-year-old gay kids.
What?
Yeah. He was also the same guy that made it legal to give people AIDS. And is also very, very gay himself. He's been at various... actually, let me go see if I can find a picture of this guy real quick. Because he was in like full BDSM at one point.
How are these people not in prison?
No idea. Well, no, the idea is basically they have power and they keep themselves out of prison because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is the picture. These are all the pictures of that dude, and then there he is in the dude right there in the middle, in the full, all of his buddies with their BDSM fucking tops on and stuff. At some Pride event. But yeah, this is a guy that's pushed for everything from all kinds of gay legislation that's clearly like pedophile legislation to everything else in the state of California, and has gotten it passed.
All right, well, I gotta go. I need a cigarette and I gotta get to bed, so I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna finish up here in a few minutes.
All right,
anyway,
man. It's good talking to you.
Yeah.
Later.
Laters.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna finish this one out in a few minutes. Whoa, I realize we've already gone almost 2 hours now. So
time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, well, but yeah, that Scott guy is a fucking nut, though.
Yeah,
Well, it's just like when they talk about the gerrymandering stuff, and then you show those California districts, and it's literally just like that elite coastline trim, and then it's the rest of the friggin' county after that. And they conveniently cut out the big old part that would be like a conservative area that would actually make it so it would be more purple coloration instead of dark blue. So let's see.
it's all fucking bullshit.
Oh yeah, and then of course old Scotty here was tweeting about that Roth guy. Let's see what he said here. Let's see. Said, since Joel Roth, a gay Jew, was QAnon demonized and falsely attacked as a pedophile, the unleashing of the anti-Semitism has been breathtaking, according to pedophile Scott Wiener, who I would not be surprised if his brother was Anthony Wiener, to be honest with you. I have no idea if he is or not, but it would not surprise me if he was.
So, right.
They do have the same exact last name, spelling exact same way, so... let's see. Guy also said the day after Respect for Marriage Act was signed, B. Joe Wolf, Pulse nightclub survivor, provided powerful testimony before a House committee on the vicious hate directed against LGBTQ people and the violence that results. Jesus. It's like, well, when you're pushing all kinds of stuff that is not okay, bro. Like, pretty sure that's why you're getting backlash for it. So, yeah, it's all just him talking about Respect for Marriage Act and other. Okay, he's a state senator. That's what it was. I was thinking he's a state rep. Either way, fucking sick son of a bitch is what it is. Then you got London Breed, mayor of San Francisco there. Another hypocrite piece of shit.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much, I think just about everyone in California.
Oh, yeah, and then back in November, Scott's pushing gun control. Trying to blame the MAGA movement for killing some gay guy.
Jesus.
Daniel's life was cut too short due to senseless hate and gun violence. We must honor his memory and continue to fight for justice. By pushing more gun control? Apparently.
That's not going to do anything except for the good guys defenseless.
This was less than an hour ago. It was him at some fucking drag show. For some person's 60th birthday. Jesus. Yep, and there he's grooming some younger dude again. Talking about climate change. That's the guy he was talking about. With the survivor of Pulse or whatever. Just like I was saying at the beginning of this whole thing with 10th anniversary of Sandy Hook and them pushing these 17, 18-year-old kids now.
Yep.
And it's like you're talking about people who are clearly shell-shocked that are so fucked in the head from their own traumatic experience as a child. Like, no, they need serious counseling. They don't need to be your puppet for some shit, dude.
Yeah, they don't need to be paraded around in the front of the world.
And I would say it's the same thing with this dude. Like, this dude, you can tell, you can see that guy's face. Like, he has clearly psychological trauma from that night at Pulse.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, dude, you need to be getting counseling and getting actual help for yourself, not going there and talking about like, oh, and this is why people hate the LGBTQ community. It's like, no, we don't, bro. We just don't like fucking pedos is what it is. And y'all happen to be supporting those people is what it is for the most part a lot of times.
Yeah, and I just don't like shit, no matter what it is, being shoved down my fucking throat and told that I have to accept it or else.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, it's like putting a loaded gun to your head without it being an actual physical weapon.
Yeah.
It's like the weaponized state at that point. The state is the gun. Being like, oh, you must accept this Respect for Marriage Act, or you're a giant bigot and we can sue you into the ground now.
Yeah.
Some BS provision we put in it, and it's like, no, fuck you. I don't know. It's going to get a lot worse before it gets better, unfortunately, I think. And
I agree. Like I commented earlier before I joined the chat, I don't know why, but I feel strongly that something big is going to go down next year that's going to be pretty much life altering. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And of course, you got more people trying to threaten the chick behind Libs at TikTok there. This kid apparently from Philadelphia was talking about burning down this girl's house.
Jesus.
So, yeah. And that's it. Honestly, that's the only good thing that Elon Musk has done since he took over Twitter now is that he's actually started banning these people. Because of the fact they're like doing actual death threats and stuff. I'm not going to lie, though. I would love to see... I agree with Rittenhouse and with Nick Salmon both. I would love to see the Twitter files on their stuff. What was suppressed with that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because Salmon called it. He said he got multiple death threats and stuff from leftist people on the site, and nothing was ever done about it. And obviously Rittenhouse, you had a bunch of people like me defending him and being suppressed for it. So...
Oh, yeah. After I saw the video of Rittenhouse. Sorry, I was trying to take some medicine. After I saw the video of Rittenhouse, dude, I was totally on his side.
Oh, shit.
I knew he was fucking innocent from day one. His shit had never went to court. I missed that video.
Yeah, that, ladies and gentlemen, is an educational purpose of why you don't do fucking yoga on a tree next to a giant waterfall.
Yeah.
Because your ass might fall in. And die.
Please don't try to take TikTok picture or Instagram picture just to try to be cool. I mean, think of the dangers, please. Use it as an educational purpose.
I didn't even see that part of that thing. Yeah, the thing about the traffic stops, people not getting vaxxed. The
Mhm.
findings could justify changes to driver insurance policies, claim the authors of the article.
Yeah, that's what I was going to allude to that, but
they can fuck off with that shit.
oh hell yes, I was going to allude to that because that's part of what I heard. But you said you already talked about it, so I figured you.
Oh no,
already
I just
covered
talked
it.
about the top. No, I just saw the article thing. That we talked about that part of it. Let's see, radical gender activist tells Congress that she helps facilitate child sexual transitions without parent notification or consent, beginning when kids are age 13. Yeah, that's child abuse.
Hell yeah, it is, 100%. But yeah, they're going as far as saying that the doctors need to get involved and educate the unvaccinated about the dangers of being unvaccinated. Also, about the dangers of driving on the road.
Yep.
No, doctors don't need to be getting into bullshit that doesn't have to pertain to medical or your health or anything like that.
Let's see what else.
And to an
A
extent, they
Wilton
shouldn't even do
filmmaker
that.
faces up to 3 years in prison for saying men cannot be lesbians. And that right there is why I'm against the whole Marriage Equality Act thing, because that's the kind of shit they're going to try to pull here pretty soon. Going to try and police our speech and stuff like that and be like, oh, you can't say these things. Now you're going to jail UK style or Norwegian style or whatever it is. Norway, I guess is what it would be actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tawny Jovan, a lesbian filmmaker who intentionally made the comment to criticize Norway's gay speech law or Norway's hate speech laws, saying men cannot be lesbians, now faces up to 3 years in prison. Fucking ridiculous,
Jesus
dude.
Christ. And that's
Why
why, no matter what people say, America is the greatest country in the world, and it's falling apart because of stupid shit like that.
I was gonna say this is why you don't give up your guns ever, especially not to a tyrannical government.
Oh hell no, no. That's like if they ever instituted like a mandatory buyback nationwide, you know, like Australia did or New Zealand. I just pray people don't fucking do it. You know, there's going to be stupid people that will.
Oh yeah, there'll be definitely a portion of their all fuddy and shit like that that'll pull it out.
But I pray that at least 90% of people don't do it.
Another video from that San Antonio drag show. Gay Lives Matter and Lesbian Lives Matter say demonstrators supporting the drag show event outside the Aztec Theater.
All lives matter.
Yeah.
Just because you identify as something doesn't mean your life is
I'm
more
trying
valuable
to
than
figure out
mine.
what the last word on that fucking pink sign says.
Let me zoom in. Hold on.
It's hate is a, and I can't tell what the fuck it says.
Drag.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Hate
yeah, the R. That's why, because like the R was messed up on it or something like that.
Yeah,
It's
and that
like,
G looks like a C.
yeah, that person needs to get some serious fucking better skills of how to actually spell correctly.
Look at that E. It looks more like a C because of the little tiny middle dash is like almost
Yeah, somebody has
non-existent.
no idea how to make a fucking sign properly. Is what it is, man. Like,
Jesus. Go back to grade school.
like if you're gonna go that route, man, like for God's sakes, I mean, Soros gives you the free signs already. Like, just take one of them. I do find it interesting though that they're talking about gay and lesbians, and then you got somebody holding up a big old trans flag behind them.
Right.
Like, shouldn't you be holding a gay pride flag? Like, I'm just saying.
You know what I want to start seeing more of, and that I haven't seen or really heard anything about them in years. We need more fucking 2A rallies.
Yeah, well, nobody wants to be the first one doing it and getting fucking fucked up is the problem.
I know. It's just you got to get over your fears and
Yeah,
worrying about
Fred Gutenberg bitching about Sandy Hook yesterday, talking about all the kids that supposedly lost their lives that day. So, let's see. Driver blocked by Just Stop Oil, threatened with fine for beeping horn at protesters. That's in the UK, by the way.
Yeah,
The
I
cops
figured
protect
so.
the idiots is what it is. Let us glue ourselves to the ground, and then the cops come by and ask us if we need water.
Eh,
They've
yeah,
done
I
that,
knew
by the
that.
way. I've seen videos of that shit before. You guys okay? You need some water? You need something to eat? No, we're fine. You're not going to arrest us? No, we're on your side. Literal videos out there, them telling them people that. It's like,
Jesus.
nah, do your jobs, police. Rip them off the fucking ground and arrest their asses.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Let's see what this one's about. This is about Ohio here. I've had blowouts with this David guy before about stuff. Let's see. Okay, this is Ohio Rep Brian Stewart he's talking about. Claims really just gives the entire game away for GOP here. One, this is about preserving their extremist abortion bans and doing the bidding of Ohio Right to Life and Center for Christian Virtue. Two, this is about preserving the illegal gerrymandering. What he's actually talking about is literally the legislation that they're passing that would stop bullshit from going onto our ballots in the future for actual gerrymandering laws so that they can make our state blue and other stuff to push abortion bans into our constitution as will be. And yeah, it should be hard to do that kind of stuff anyway.
Yep.
Like there's no reason for it. So it's just disgusting. Let's see. Full letter ties restricting reform response. What's funny to me is that they're talking shit about Ohio's Right to Life and other pro-life organizations. Yet meanwhile, you've had Planned Parenthood of Ohio literally funding every Democrat in our state house right now for the last several years now. So it's like, how is that any different, bro? Let's see what we got here now. Oh yeah, that was actually pretty good. NHL endorsing the transgender all-star team or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
where you had a male hockey player literally give a female a concussion on the ice during that game. Yeah, female trans ice hockey player 32 who left rival concussed in brutal tackle. Her non-binary wife 33 plays in goal for the same team and lashes out at TERFs, which would be what do they call that? Trans exclusionary feminist radicals or something like that. Radical feminists, something like that. It's like some weird terminology they made up a few years back.
But you say you want to be equal to men and you want to play the same games, but you want to whine and bitch when somebody get hurt playing a game. Oh, poor baby.
Just a bunch
Fuck
of crazy
them.
fucking people. Just a bunch
Men
of
and
nuts.
women are not equal for a reason. They're not the same for a reason. Men cannot be women, women cannot be men.
Oh, and of course, you had that asshole Obama stand on the graves of dead kids again yesterday for the 10th anniversary of Sandy Hook.
Fuck that piece of shit.
Fucking scumbag bastard.
He's another one that should be executed for treason. For many things, including like Fast and Furious.
I mean, he should be tried for high treason for sure by a military tribunal, and I will leave it at that. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much where we're at for the day, though. I think we're just going to finish up with that then. But, yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens here, if they're passing stuff right now in the General Assembly or not for Ohio, or if they've already finished up for the night. So I'll probably go and I'll do a grandstand or something probably tomorrow and talk about some things that have happened here in the last day or two. Figure out where these laws are going with the voting laws, and if they're doing the different laws to make it harder to get petitions on our ballots to change our constitution and stuff like that. So any last words, Corey?
I could say a bunch, but nah, man, not I
Okay.
could really say on YouTube.
All right.
But yeah, it's been a great chat. Thanks for having me, man.
Yep. All right. Yeah. Like I said, we'll see y'all later, and hope you guys enjoyed this.
There
And
you go.
we'll continue to do more of these my day is your night streams, because my day is usually people's nights. So there you go.
Right, I'm a night owl too.